All right, guys, so welcome back to our YouTube channel. I'm so excited today because we actually are out in Arlington Heights. Arlington Heights is a northwest suburb of the city of Chicago. I do the city and the suburbs, and I love this suburb. They have an amazing downtown location, probably one of the better downtowns for most of the suburbs around the city of Chicago. They have restaurants and shopping and all of the local charm that you would expect from a suburban historic downtown. For commuters, it is a great area for easy access to getting into the city. You have the Metra, which is right in the downtown area, but then also you have highway access, and it is just 2 exits away from O'Hare Airport. So a lot of people, especially who are looking to pick up and move from the city, come out here. That is the draw. But then on top of it, you have world-class schools. My name is Samuel Shahan. I am a local real estate broker here with the Chicago Lifestyle team and at Properties. Today is really exciting. We won out on this offer for our clients, Danny and Rachel. Now, Danny and Rachel are moving from the city out to the suburbs with their puppy Ivy, and they are having such a hard time in this market. Things about the spring market is that it normally is really competitive, but Arlington Heights has been really competitive this year in and of itself. We have lost out on several multiple offers because their lease is coming up. We gave everything to the seller to make this the most competitive offer that is possible. And guess what? After that, we did win this property. And so they are super excited. And we are here today to walk them through an entire inspection. We did it in as-is condition. So that means that we are buying the house subject to an inspection. We're able to do an inspection with a contingency, but we are not able to ask any requests from the seller. The reason why is in this market in the city of Chicago, when inventory is super tight, we're hovering around 1 to 2 months of inventory. This is unfortunately a staple in most multiple offers is to do an as is. I would say 99.9% of all multiple offers will have an as is clause in that offer. So it is super important that we walk them through everything. But the great thing about it is when we're on showings, we literally are looking at the condition of the home prior to us making these offers. So we are making the best decisions possible. If you are new, we would love to welcome you into our community. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have tons of new videos coming on. And if you are a returning person, thank you guys so much for coming back. This has really been a fun thing. And my job is to educate, but also entertain you as much as possible. We predominantly do neighborhood tours showing you around all the city of Chicago, as well as in the suburbs. We have property tours for listings that we have coming on the market, helping our sellers sell these beautiful houses and just overall sell the Chicago lifestyle. On top of it, we're going to have educational videos and hopefully vlogs. So if there's some videos that you guys want to see, I would love to hear the comments. So leave a message down below in the comment section. We want to hear what you guys want to watch. I am working with a great production team, and it's been phenomenal trying to come up with ideas that I think you guys will like. So please leave some suggestions down there. Honestly, I feel like a lot of real estate agents are just doing like these talking head videos, and I really want to get out and about and help you guys as much as possible. Just learn the city, learn the process of buying and selling here in the city as well as in the burbs, and make this a lot of fun. That being said, let's go in. Tony is our inspector today. He's with Inspectrum. I've been working with them for about 6 years now. Tony is amazing. He's like really attention to detail and does a really good job. Today, it's a non-destructive, non-dismantling inspection. So essentially what's gonna happen is Tony is gonna look at the entire house. So he's looking at the exterior, making sure that the tuck pointing on the brick is good, that the siding is decent as well. He's gonna be looking at any flaws in it, which is gonna cause water to go in. That's our biggest concern. And then he's also gonna be looking at the roof. Obviously, he just was up there. He starts outside and we'll go kind of inside. He's gonna point out not not cosmetic stuff, but it's going to be about functionality. So that's mainly going to be it. When we go inside, so we're going to be looking at the electricity, the plumbing, all the mechanics. He's also going to be looking at all the appliances and making sure that everything is working in the correct order. Now, again, a house like this, don't be surprised that he's going to put a lot of stuff on this report. Typically with a house like this, you're probably going to have around like 50 to 70 items that are going to come up on this inspection report. They're going to be kind of broken down by a bunch of different things. So ones that we're looking for is A, that they're functioning in the way that they're intended to function, but then B, if something is a safety hazard, we want to make sure that we're correcting that as well. Because we're kind of taking the property in as is condition, we're creating a to-do list for you guys and layering it down and saying, hey, what's the best thing to do right away? What needs to be like done in a couple of years? A lot of the stuff that he's going to actually point out is maintenance items as well. So that's going to be really important to kind of like look out for. What he's going to do is he's going to pull us aside for anything that needs to be done or talked about. So, hey, this is something that is big or something concerning that may look really like scary in the report. Let me pull you aside and let me talk about it. Other things that he's going to do is pull aside for maintenance items. Maintenance items are going to definitely be with like the HVAC system, how to maintain that, how to do the filters, all of that stuff. This is your guys' first time owning a home, so this is going to be really ambitious.
So fun.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot that goes into it. I always say this is kind of like your last opportunity to get in the house. We kind of talked about that on the phone. Tony typically has a tape measure. So if you want to get measurements, take as many photos, videos as you want of the home. This is your opportunity. Sound good? Perfect. Yeah. So at the very end, he will pull us aside and then he'll kind of go through the full report at that time as well. Now, we are taking it in as is condition, so unfortunately there's nothing we can do. We're just learning. Yep. Yeah, exactly. If there is something that's really huge that we're like, okay, we're not gonna be able to do it, it's like too much money, then we have the opportunity to back out of the contract. So that goes with that inspection contingency. So really it's a discovery phase.
He did mention that it's too cold to test
the air conditioner
system. So how do we go about something like that?
So great question.
Thank you.
So he's not going to be able to test the air conditioner just in Chicago if it's under 65 degrees for a certain amount of days. We can't test the air conditioners. He's not going to be able to test it, but we will put it a part of our attorney review contract to have the seller just confirm that it was working in the last season. So again, we have to take that with a grain of salt and just be like, hey, this is what was happening last summer. It may clunk out the first year or the first week. We don't know. So unfortunately, but we're like taking it with like the seller saying, hey, did it work last year? And then
at least we have like a heads up from them.
Exactly. What you guys may want to actually do is maybe potentially do a home warranty. So I know we kind of talked about those in the past with all of our offers. Again, you guys can purchase it at any point in your ownership. So if you're like, hey, just for this first year, just because we've shelled out a lot of money, if you're like, let's just do this just as a safety net, I mean, you can always do that too. Oh, also, Radon, he's going to be doing. I wasn't able to get the sewer scope guy. So we'll probably not do that. You have 2 trees in front. I'm assuming that the line, and we can look at where the line is on the inside, but I'm assuming it's going to be right here. So have a feeling these trees won't affect it, but you just never know.
Are we able to find out when the last owners did something like that?
They never do it. So the reason why we started doing sewer scopes is because 99% of most homeowners don't do it. So it's just one of those, I always say it's a maintenance thing. Do it every couple of years. It's kind of like HVAC systems. Most people don't maintain it consistently. It's very common. All right, so like I said, you guys are more than welcome. Take your time around the house.
Before we talk about like line stuff, do these count or are they going to keep those with them?
So window treatments stay. We put it on the thing. Yeah, so those should stay. Yeah, they really don't have any blinds. So like, just to get you guys through the first little bit, you can get like the paper ones that are like, you stick to the window. Make sure you stick it to the window, not to the actual wood, like the frame, because otherwise it'll rip your frame off after a while. But those are like super cheap, and those are Home Depot. They'll get you through with some privacy, but then you can upgrade at some point.
Yeah, for sure.
Right now, Tony is setting up our radon test. It's a natural occurring odorless gas that comes straight from the ground. Very prevalent here in the suburbs, especially in this northwest and southwest side of the city of Chicago. We don't really find it much in the city, but the test is going to be set up. It's a 48-hour test. They leave it in here. We don't want the doors to be opened or anything like that, but it's measuring the air quality for those levels. Now, we want anything under 4% to be deemed a good test. If this is over it, which out here in Arlington Heights is very common, especially after it rained, and we've had a lot of rain recently, so it does affect the numbers as well. When it's over that, we do have mitigation systems that we set up here. They do typically cost around $2,500 to install, and what it does is it circulates the air in the unit. Now, the reason why this is a concern is at higher levels over time, it can cause cancer. And so we want to make sure that we are mitigating it as best as possible. Right, Tony? Spot on. So the actual radon disclosure started coming out in 2011, which is right when I started real estate. And so when the disclosure came out, a lot of people were just like, I'm not going to test or do anything like that. During COVID, so 2020 is when I started noticing it being tested a lot more frequently. I think the reason being is a lot of people were doing as is. And so back in 2020, it was the one thing, if you were doing as is, you could still negotiate because it was a safety concern. So a lot of people were really going into it. So that's kind of basics of radon. So the way that I explain a lot of the things with a bunch of my clients is, let's talk about real estate as a risk. When we're comparing things, what would be the normal reaction that we would be able to do? And then what is the risk that's gonna come with it? Especially when it's in these like multiple offer situations and it's super competitive and you're thinking about, why would I do an as-is clause? I look at the overall risk of what's happening in the house. These guys, in order to win our offer, we got rid of a lot of contingencies, and one of those was the as-is. Now, as-is, it's a really big step, especially for a house like this. In a normal market, if we were to negotiate a property, we're looking at 50 to 70 items, but really, truth be told, you're not going to be able to negotiate all 50 to 70 items. I would typically say most people, when we were negotiating back even pre-COVID, when it's a normal market, we are doing, maybe 10, maybe 12 items that are going to come up in an inspection that we are actually able to negotiate. On average, we're negotiating around $5,000, or on average for this specific house, we may be negotiating $10,000 worth of repairs that is actually going to be happening. So as is just means that we're taking the home in the condition that it is. And so if the average home, we're negotiating $5,000, that means you're just giving the seller $5,000 worth of non-repairs that they're making. Other things are risk factors. Obviously, we want to look at majority of the things while we're walking through. Luckily, Danny and Rachel have been with me for a couple months now, and we literally, every single property, they already know the checklist that I am like, hey, how old is this? What's the life expectancy of this? So they have already done the educational work with me. And so going into a property like this, what are the risks that we're kind of going up against? We already knew that the roof was going to be old. This one, the seller's agent had already forewarned us, saying, hey, the roof is a little on the older side. We don't know the exact age, but it should take a little bit of years. So we had already financially prepared for hopefully it not going out within the first year, but within a couple years so that they can recoup some of their budget and actually start saving up again. So these are things that we kind of really are looking at on our tours that really minimize the amount of risk. Now, everything is going to have some risk associated with it. Does the seller have the risk or does the buyer have the risk? In a seller's market like it is today, sometimes the buyer has to take on those risks. I'm not the one who's going to make the decision. My job is to educate them enough that they know what the risk is going into the property, and hopefully it works out for them. One of the biggest terms that you're going to probably hear in the city of Chicago and out in the suburbs, we deal with a lot of brick, and also the elements that we have in the city of Chicago and the burbs are just a little harsher because we have winter. So this is what we're going to call tuck pointing. So tuck pointing is on a brick structure like this. You have grout and then you have the brick that's going to be between it. See how there's a little bit of cracking already starting? That's going to be what we say is tuck pointing. Tuck pointing is the act of actually taking out the brick and then replacing any bad bricks, and then also repairing the grout. So that's where that's going to come into play. The more you know. Let's head on in and check on them. Yeah, this will be such a nice room.
Yeah.
Game room?
Yeah, because the one that's like smaller with like the blue room, like probably will be our like office.
Okay.
And then the pink one, probably like guest bedroom for now. And then the other one, obviously the master. And then there's like 2 other living room spaces. So at this one, I'm like, I don't know if we need 3, but we'll figure it out.
With that, the float down is actually, it's 0.5% or more. They'll float it down an eighth.
Oh.
So it's not the full, it'll be a fractional. If it drops a quarter, then it's only an eighth.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
So did she talk about like conventional versus arms?
Not directly, no.
Okay. Arms right now have a little bit of a lower interest rate. They're only for 7 years though, so that may be something to like look into. I'm refinancing into an arm just because it is lowering the rate a little bit more.
Yeah.
I know you guys are going to be in the home probably longer than 7, but you'll just refinance at some point when rates come down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like a whole, like, you apply to refinance or like you...
Yeah, so it's literally kind of like going through another closing. So just as a heads up. So when you're refinancing, they'll charge you a closing cost. So make sure like the percentage that you're saving on the interest is actually worthwhile versus the closing costs. So like typically what I do is like I'll divide the closing costs by like 12 months, and that's however long it'll take to get done.
Oh.
So like how many months does it take for you to pay off the closing costs with the difference that you're saving? Mine, when I'm refinancing right now, it's saving me an extra $400 a month just because of my interest rate I got mine at 7. So now it's at 6. So with that savings and my PMI is falling off, the mortgage process is the most pain in the butt part of, and you guys already went through a huge pain in the butt process trying to get this house, but the loan is annoying.
And she did give us the heads up, like, you're going to be frustrated. Like, we're going to ask you for a lot of stuff over and over again.
Yeah, and they'll ask for the same stuff multiple times.
Yeah.
What do you think that Ivy? Like, I'm not saying in this room.
Oh my God, this is an Ivy room.
She would love it. My God, she would literally be on the couch right now looking.
Oh my God. Okay.
I was able to poke my head up there. It looks pretty clean. I just couldn't like do a full 360 view.
Okay, but you got photo.
Yeah, it looks pretty clean. Just wood trusses. You got plenty of insulation up there.
Sweet. So it's not storage that you guys will use it for.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what's on the ground there, but I don't want to put my stuff on
No.
it.
No, that's insulation.
Okay.
But also the squeeze into
Okay.
that. But that is where your access is, so if
Okay.
anybody ever needs it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so as you guys are looking at some of this B film, Tony is actually taking a light around the house. He's looking at the ceiling. He's looking for discoloration, which is important for, especially on the top floors. You have the roof right above it, so making sure that there's no roof leaks or anything coming through that. But then on the lower floors, making sure that there's just no other leaks that have happened You have plumbing in the walls as well as in some of the flooring. And then you also have your bathrooms and your kitchens. So making sure that none of those are going to be leaking through as well. It is not uncommon to have water damage somewhere in the house. That is one of the things I would tell every client. Every home is going to have water at some point. I'd rather know about it so then we can ask the previous homeowner what actually happened. So when we see a water stain, is it dry or is it wet? Danny and Rachel and I literally just saw a house a couple weeks ago that the bathroom upstairs was actively leaking on our showing. And so we actually got to see that. But if it's dry, just figuring out, hey, what happened? How was it rectified? And if they've had any issues since. So always looking for that. So what he's doing right now is taking a moisturizer and making sure that there's no moisture in the walls, especially on the exterior of the property. If you're doing the roof, do the dormer at the same time, because if you're replacing the roof anyway, you might as well not have to replace the roof and then rip it up to dormer it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fun thing about inspections is you get to stand here and just watch you do all the work. Well, the fire alarm works.
That's good.
Typically when we're like going through a house, especially on a showing, I'm looking at the mechanical rooms. Those are significantly the most important part of some of the house outside of the standard structure. So things that I'm looking for is the electric panel. Is it newer? Is it older? How many amps does it have? This one actually is great because they labeled everything, which is always so nice. And it also is a 200 amp electric panel, which is awesome because most homes in this area are going to have around 100 amps. So this is double, it's a newer panel. Tony is going to open it up and make sure that all of the wiring is matching the breaker size. That's super important because we want them to trip when there's too much of a surge. Other thing that we're looking at is the heating and cooling system, as well as the water heater. What are the ages of them? Because when you're going through it and we're talking with our clients, we want to make sure that they know the ages so that they can essentially budget if they need a new one. So heating system here was a little on the older side. We already planned that out. This one was from 2005 for the water heater. This one, water heaters typically are around $1,500. Heating and cooling systems are typically around $6,000 to $7,000 total for just the heating system, and then $6,000 to $7,000 for the air compressor. We want to make sure that those are actually good as well. Other thing that I'm looking at, just the overall piping, especially in an older home. You want to notice if they're either the galvanized pipes, which is very common in a lot of older Chicago homes, or if they've been able to replace them with copper piping. Copper piping is a little bit better than the galvanized pipe. Fun stuff. And these all have copper pipes. All right, so thank you guys so much for joining us with this YouTube experience, doing this inspection out here in Arlington Heights for Danny and Rachel. It is a really great house. There are a lot of older items that are gonna come up in this house that we knew that we're gonna have to take care of. As long as you know about it going into it, that is the most important thing. I think everything in real estate is kind of having expectations going into it. There are obviously always gonna be random stuff that happens in a house that is home ownership, but as long as we know a majority of what could go wrong, I think that always kind of helps, especially with the first-time home buyer. If you have been with us this entire time, we would love for you to join our community. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Feel free to also leave a comment below. If you are looking to buy or sell here in the city of Chicago, we would love to connect with you. Down in the description, I will have an intake form that you can fill out. We would love to have the opportunity to show you the Chicago Chicago lifestyle, but also help guide you through. I always say we literally want to be the best agent out there. Being the best is sometimes numbers, but I've always wanted to be the best in terms of education and guidance when it comes to my clients. So I value that and make that a part of my business as much as possible. So we would love to advocate for you on your next purchase as well as your next sale. We would love to help you explore and then live the Chicago lifestyle.